2023 Auburn University Marching Band. For your halftime entertainment, we celebrate the 43-year reign of the Speed Metal Kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage for the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
Wednesday night is here once again, and that means it's time for Auburn Family Night. This is the show each and every week here at E2C Network, where you, the Auburn family, take center stage. Your comments, your questions, topics, and calls all coming up right now. War Eagle, and welcome to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, and we talk about the Auburn experience. We're all about sharing that experience here, which is all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say it, though, is if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing today here on Auburn Family Night. I love this time of the week because there's no script, there's no plan, there's no goal. I know that sets it up great for those of you that are joining us for the first time. What are we getting ourselves into? But if you've been here for a while, you know this is one of our favorite nights of the week because we get to talk about what's on your mind. Certainly, I have plenty of things that I want to talk about in the Auburn space, and we're going to get to those things this evening. Some of those things will be decompressing, recapping everything from SEC Media Days. Certainly, we're marching towards some fall football practice, which that was just announced as well, which day that's going to begin. There's summer basketball going on. I've got it on the screen right now over here. There's plenty of things in the Auburn experience, sports or not, current events or not, to talk about, and you all get to take the stage today and take advantage of plenty of things like the call-in link, like the comment section down here below, the live chat, so that we can see what you want to do. So let us know that you're here by smashing the like button to start off, that follow, subscribe button wherever you're watching, and letting us know what's on your mind tonight. Like, what's going on? What are you thinking about? And what are you most interested in talking about this evening? So let us talk about some things that are actually transpiring, it appears, even as we go live tonight. I hate to say it, folks. You come to Auburn Family Night and news just breaks. Those of you that have been here for a while, you'll know this. We can't have a show without some type of news breaking. So certainly we'll get into that in a little bit and talk about what we can within all of that. But let's start the show off on a good note. Tonight. Go ahead and check in with us. Tell us where you're watching from. So many of you are already doing that. We want to talk to you guys about everything that we can across the Auburn space. We got Wanda checking in from Mobile, Alabama. Pelham, Alabama checking in as well. Also, Auburn, Indiana. What are the odds? Corey, good to see you as well. Unbeaten Lake. So many other people here to talk about the Auburn experience today. The up and down roller coaster rides of everything. We're going to get into it. All right. The phone lines are now open for you all. If you would like to take advantage of that, you can go ahead and get in line for that. We'll start taking calls in just a little bit. It's very easy to utilize. All you got to do is hit the link that's pinned at the top of the chat on YouTube specifically. Facebook, you should be able to see it up there at the top if you scroll all the way up. But YouTube is really the place of ease for you to get access to that. You click the link, you pick if you want to say whatever you want to be called, and then you can choose to be on camera or off camera. It's very easy. We would love to hear from some of you this evening about all the things that have been happening. Muscle Shoals already checking in with that. All right. So, yeah, I know there's a lot we got to talk about, even breaking news. So let me just kind of set the table with the rest of everything else. As you can see, our title, wherever it is on the screen for you, the SEC Media Days recap. Certainly that's the biggest overall news. I know there's more pertinent things at this exact moment that are arising, but certainly that's the biggest overall news. We do want to talk about that. We want to hear some thoughts about you all what you have about that. We did a reaction stream yesterday. We talked a little bit about everything that happened there, what was said, what wasn't said, opinions, and all those things, those initial reactions. You've had a day now to digest everything. I've had a day to digest everything. What do you want to discuss from that? Let's certainly try to keep as much of the focus there as we can this evening on that main topic, but there are plenty of other things out there to discuss. I think most of you, and I was wondering why our numbers jumped up so fast to start off the show, and now I kind of know why. So we have usually a very, I'm not a guy that gets big about the numbers or anything like that. But when numbers start spiking, you're kind of like, okay, what's going on here? What's happening? And certainly, I think a lot of people are checking in to see my opinions, your opinions about some news that is currently transpiring at this exact moment. Yes, I have heard the news. It broke a few minutes ago, apparently. Malcolm Simmons reportedly has been arrested, a wide receiver for Auburn. And that is reports. I cannot confirm that. I've got two reputable sources on social media I'm looking at this exact moment to confirm at least the reporting of it. So it's not looking like it's a good sign in terms of it's being just a bad report. I will tell you this, and we talked about, isn't it ironic that we talked about, we're seeing a lot of people pop in for the first time in a long time. What's going on, John? Could it have been this that made you pop in, or are you just finally getting geared up for football season? Now, look, there is an apparent, this is another source, according to multiple sources, Auburn wide receiver Malcolm Simmons was arrested Wednesday morning in Lee County on domestic violence charges. That is not good. That is Jerry Humphrey III of AL.com. So you're seeing a lot of our beat writers report on it now. Lots of things happening and transpiring at the moment. I know it's going to be difficult for us to break free of that this evening and try to talk about other things, but we're going to do that. So, but I at this point, I think we got to at least start the show off talking about that. I'm gathering the information live, just like you guys. As I joked about to start the show, if you come here, news happens. It just does. We go live and news breaks. I can't explain it. Maybe Wednesday is just the day that people decide to get crazy or something like that. Yeah, I want to be very careful about what I do and don't say about this. Obviously, this is only a report. Everybody is due their day in court, innocent till proven guilty. However, he has, by these reports, been arrested. And if those charges are correct, that is not good. Not a good look on him. And I certainly hope that it is untrue. However, I would also continue to ask the question and caution our student athletes. Folks, you see this happen every single summer. Why are you getting yourselves involved in these situations? So even if it is untrue, you are certainly getting involved with people and situations that you don't need to be involved with if this type of stuff is happening. That's about as far as I want to go without any further facts on it today. Let's see here. Devin, good to see you. She popped in right before we got started on that. War Eagle Media Days was great. Message was positive and energizing, as it should be. A little bit more energizing than what we're diving into right here today. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the most energizing thing in the world. Kyle, your viewer numbers would have exploded had you had a channel in 2010. That is true. And the channel numbers did explode. And it was ironic. We started this channel about the time that Gus Malzahn was fired. And of course, that got everything started. But who's going to be the next guy? Boy, didn't know what you're getting into. And that certainly, big moments like that get the eyes on what you're doing or trying to do out here. And hopefully this is one of those moments that you get more of the eyes on things right now. Let's see here. Yeah, please be very careful, Mark, as you as well. I appreciate you are always entitled to your opinions, but we ask you to be very wise about how you're doing these things here. Look, you don't know what happened. You are seeing reports. You don't know the whole story, and sometimes there's no consequences for you as my voice cracks. for you jumping ahead and calling someone an idiot. But you don't know the whole story. So you actually, just to be frank, if you're going to call someone an idiot, you might actually be the idiot. That is jumping the gun here. Usually these type of situations seem to be pretty heavy in the truth category, but I also want to encourage us all to walk this line very gracefully, because how we handle ourselves as the Auburn family. You should be disappointed if the allegations and the arrest was correct, but we'll wait for that particular thing to get figured out. Not sure that we're going to get a lot of information on that at this point in time. Never a dull moment when you're an Auburn fan / grad, just an Auburn person. Let's just not even put those qualifiers on it. Just an Auburn. If you attach yourself to the Auburn family, there is absolutely no dull moment. There are some really high of the highs and low of the lows. And boy, does it just kind of go up and down, almost the daily spectrum of it right now. Let's see here. Today, I learned that E2C was created as an outlet for Kyle to get over his grief of St. Gus getting fired. No, actually, the YouTube channel was not created for that. The YouTube channel technically existed before that, but I didn't really start utilizing it until right before Gus got fired. And it wasn't because I thought he was going to. I just lucked out and started trying to utilize the platform more, and it was a hotbed time for Auburn conversations in the space. But E2C as the entity has been around for better part of 14 years. No, that's way too long. The better part of 12 years, 2014. It would be 11 years. Kyle, get your math right. God, there I go doing math again on the show. That's just terrible. Okay, let's cool down for a little bit. We'll come back and discuss this breaking news some more. I do want to try to see what you guys think about SEC Media Days. I know your attention is elsewhere right now, but we're going to start taking calls. You can get in line to talk about what you want to discuss today too. Let's get in here and get some positivity going. You know him, you love him. What's going on, Kevin?
Hey, I think that Malcolm Simmons will still play this season.
Well, buddy, I'm going to just step out on a limb here and say that is probably not the case. I love your optimism, but I don't think we got a good situation brewing here. When you are involved, whether it's true or not, in domestic violence charges, I don't think we're going to see. I don't feel hopeful for that. I'm just gathering the information now, just like you are.
Yeah.
I hope you're right, but I just wouldn't get your hopes up about that.
And I heard the East Freeze press conference, and he thinks we will be one of the playoff teams. That is right.
Well, I'm going to clarify. I'm going to make sure, my job here is to help you make sure you get the correct information. He didn't actually say that. So most people are taking what they hear and taking it a step further. He didn't actually say that we would be a playoff team. He said that we should be in the discussion for the playoffs.
Yeah,
and
discussion.
So discussion doesn't mean that you're in it, that he's saying you should be. It means that you should be in competition to be in those spots. So I agree with him. I think Auburn should always be in the discussion to be in that position to be in the playoffs. Whether they will be or not, that's still up for debate. Certainly the news today, that's not good. That's a big hit for that wide receiver room. If it does play out how maybe in the moment it seems like it. But what I will agree with you on this, Kevin, is I love that he is putting his foot forward a little bit more in terms of publicly about the expectations, because some people interpreted that he wasn't doing that beforehand.
How many wide receivers we got?
Plenty. We do have plenty, but Malcolm Simmons is such a incredible talent.
Dangerous.
It's dangerous for people on the field. But I even got done talking last night about Malcolm Simmons across several of the shows, which is just unfortunate timing, how much I think he is getting forgotten about in the room of, Cam Coleman. A lot of people are excited about Eric Singleton.
Perry Thompson.
Perry Thompson. So really what this does, I think that was your core three. If Malcolm is removed from this situation, then that really opens up for a Perry Thompson. That opens up for Bryce Kane. Yeah, Bryce Kane could benefit from this if this continues to play out how in the moment it seems like it will. That Horatio Fields is a guy that Jackson Arnold talked a lot about in SEC media days from Wake Forest. Listen, one of the biggest tragedies of situations like this, again, assuming it's going to play out how it seems in the moment, is the fact that people are wasting their opportunities, and it's also people are getting other opportunities, and it's their moment to shine and stuff like that. So it's such a tough way to go and understand all these things.
Where did Fields come from?
Wake Forest is where he came from.
Wake Forest?
Yep. So got two guys from the ACC, Eric Singleton from Georgia Tech, and Horatio Fields from Wake Forest.
He's fast.
A lot of people are talking about how fast he is. We'll see how fast when he gets out there. I'm a little bit skeptical to the preseason hype stuff, but I'm excited to see what he can do.
Who'll be the starting wide receivers, you think?
Well, who do I think? Whoever the coach decides to put out there. I know that's the boring answer, and I know that's the answer you don't want from me, but I think sometimes we as fans have to make sure we recognize that the coach has all the information, and that's what's most important.
Yeah.
But what I will walk with you is through some logical stuff. Like Cam Coleman showed us he was legit last year, right? So
he's good.
Right. So that's number one. We'll just throw on whether that's number one in order or just the first one we're talking about. Let's throw that out there. That should be obvious. A lot of people are going to say because of experience and his speed, Eric Singleton. I can go there with you, especially with this situation now. I actually said this when people were asking this me even yesterday. I would have put Cam Coleman and Malcolm Simmons 1 and 2 because they were proven the system. The news today changes things. So I think now it could be truly what people have thought all along, Eric and Cam. And then at this point, it becomes anybody's game. I don't really know who fits that skill set that Malcolm Simmons had.
Do we have a guy named Sam Turner?
Yes, we do have Sam Turner. That might be a good one to think about. Sam Turner, Horatio Fields.
Number 18.
Number 18. You've got I'm blanking on everybody else's name at this exact moment, and that's Perry Thompson, Sam Turner, Bryce Kane, Horatio Fields, the Smith brothers who just got here.
Oh, at this point, brother.
Yeah, they might actually get some playing time now. So, I did not anticipate having to walk in here and talk about that. What's that?
How about Jared Smith?
He's been more of an athlete, and I don't know really how they're going to utilize him quite yet. I think most people expect to be wide receiver, but listen, you're asking a question I don't have the answers to. So
that guy named
when it happens.
That guy named Gaines, he's supposed to be good
at wide receiver.
No, defense.
Oh, defense. Yeah, he's on the depth chart a little bit. He seems very excited still to be an Auburn Tiger. That defensive back group looks very deep and very stout.
Antonio Coleman.
What about him?
We got him.
We certainly do. We got a lot of good players, Kevin. All right, tell me this, Kevin. Why don't you predict the wide receiver room for me now? I want your top 3 wide receivers now that Malcolm Simmons is. Let's just assume right now he's not in it. Who do you got to round out our call?
Number 1, Cam Coleman.
Okay.
Number 2, Eric Singletary.
Okay, the 2 big ones.
And number 3, Perry Thompson.
I had a feeling you were going to go Perry Thompson. He might be the most logical choice there.
Hey, he's good on the 2026 college football game.
Well, if that's the qualifier you need, then we got a lot of good options because I like the wide receivers in college football 26, no matter who they are.
I've been playing that, and I've been playing with Auburn. Auburn is number 2 right now.
Well, look at you just being a regular champion with the Auburn Tigers. Kevin, buddy, it is always good to hear from you and hear your perspectives, and we always appreciate your optimism.
And I hope I see you at Tiger Walk.
I'm looking forward to it.
Talk to you later,
All right.
War Eagle.
War Eagle, Kevin. All right, that was our buddy Kevin. He has called in a lot, and he is our shining bright optimism. And I wish we all were more like Kevin. I wish I could be more like Kevin, because even I feel like I'm an optimistic person, and I don't have that amount of optimism. All right, so we got our first call in. You can get in line now. Don't be shy, folks. Look, I know that some of you are popping in here maybe for the first time because you saw the news, and maybe you kind of left because you saw we weren't talking about it at that exact moment. But give it a try tonight. If you want to call in, it's easy. You click the link. Come on in, say hello. You don't have to be on camera like he was. It can just be your name right there and a blank screen that I'm talking to. That is no shame in that. Sometimes it's just easier to do that if you're on the move or something of that nature. Where do we want to go with this conversation tonight? Let's get into it a little bit. I know it's hard to break outside of the breaking news here, and we can certainly continue to do that. But my intentions tonight were to focus on SEC Media Days at the very least. It looks like most of you don't want to do that. Miles Kelly and Janai Broom are trading threes in their game tonight. You love to see it. ESPN put out a graphic, which I was shown that was incorrect by Miss Chantel Williams. So shout out to her if she's over there on Facebook, Jalen Williams family. And Jalen, they had his old team that he was with next to his name. So you saw all the different players for Auburn that are active this summer league on there. Janai, Miles, Dylan, Cheney, Jalen, and Denver, I think, as well. That is such a cool thing to see. You know, it's not a shock to see multiple guys there, like one or two or maybe two or three, but you've got a boatload of Auburn guys in this summer league that are showing up and showing out, and we're seeing a lot of highlights of them. So I hope that they're going to get, onto some teams that are able to give them an opportunity to show what they can do on the big stage, not just at the summer league, but on the big stage. That would be just the greatest way to get like rejuvenated back into the NBA league, because I'm not really into it right now, except for just trying to keep up with our Auburn guys. All right. Neil's asking the big question. He says, Kyle, what are your expectations for this season? I'm hoping to have a winning season. If so, I really hope this is a boost to Coach Freeze. You're asking the question that's too early for me. And I know that frustrates you guys, but I'm not big on predictions before you get really 2 weeks out from the seasons. And I know you're asking expectations, not necessarily record. I really don't start thinking about it until about 2 weeks out. And you're even risking that at this point. Why? Because of instances just like tonight. You will see every summer, unfortunately, and it's not just an Auburn thing. Every summer, some situation happen. Somebody gets involved in something they shouldn't have. There's a tragedy that happens. Somebody just decides late that they don't want to be here. And that can sometimes it's just minor depth changes in the roster. But this one tonight, if everything holds true and this is not looking good for him, that's a big one. That's a really big one. And that's why I sit here tonight. I can't answer that question because A, it's too early for me regardless, but that I've got to process A, how true is all this? B, what does that change in terms of the wide receiver room? Because that was that core three I was talking about right there. Devin giving the boys some clout for their fits at SEC Media Days, looking sharp at SEC Media Days. Not a fan of the no socks look though. Devin, I agree. When he was pointing out to the fact that he had no socks on with those dress shoes, I just thought, first of all, them feet is stank. Sorry, Jackson. But also, not the look. But if that's the biggest critique I have of Jackson Arnold, and it is on that day, we're doing good at this moment. Let's see here. What are my expectations for Neil's just being toxic at this point? Yes, I don't expect it to not be hot tomorrow. It's going to be hot. Are you going to do video game streams of Auburn's football season? If you're talking about for college football 26, that is the plan. As I've said on other outlets, obviously, I don't think WTU probably had a chance to hear this. No, maybe you did it on Auburn Experience Night. I have had an incredibly busy week. I was gone all week, as most of y'all know, for a wedding out in Texas that I was co-best man for. Had a lot of responsibilities, a lot of stuff. I also, came back, had like a day to get my bearings and get back into a routine. And then we had SEC media days. And this is not a complaint. Please don't hear me saying this. I was so blessed to be asked to be on so many different shows yesterday, but it literally from about 4:00 on minus an hour, it was from show to show to show to show to show to show. So I have had about 2 hours worth of gameplay, rummaging around with college football 26. I haven't even I put a clip out today of one of it was actually my first online game, and the guy thought he had me beat. One of the big plays, and that was a pick 6 with Rayon Strader, taking it back to the house versus Texas Tech. And had a big Cam Coleman moment, but it didn't save, so I don't have that. But the short answer is this. Yes, we will do some stuff. I just got to get caught up here. Susan, good to see you. Tim, good to see you guys. Latrell, he knows Auburn Family Night. Happy Family Night. That's what we're here. We're trying to be happy given all the things that are transpiring right now. Jackson Arnold was impressive in his interviews. You can tell he really respects Coach Freeze and is excited to be playing at Auburn. Let me take what you said, Devin, and maybe add to that a little bit. You probably heard me talk about this yesterday. There's been a lot. My big buzzword of post SEC media days was assessment. There seemed to be a lot of self-assessment for all involved. Players assessing themselves, certainly coaches assessing players, but also the coaches assessing themselves, each other, and what they need to do to be different, namely Coach Hugh Freeze. So for all these, if you ever see anybody trying to say that this is a guy that never takes responsibility or something like that, and they cherry pick moments that sound good, but they're not actually true, point back to these moments right here. He spent a lot of time trying to figure out what he can do to be a better head coach. And one of those was taking those personality psychological tests to understand his players and then understand himself and how he can help them be best of a servant to them in helping them reach their goals and the team's goals. So I really appreciate that. And I think what you're getting to here, Devin, that's my point in going that route. That's where the respect comes from. This is a guy that feels invested in my opinion, and thus that's coming out in interviews and things like that. Yes, yeah, that's coming for you there, WT. Maybe tonight. No, I'm kidding. I don't know it'll probably be a random thing. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more organized with my Auburn college football 26 content this time. What a night on ESPN was NBA Summer League. Has Janai Broom playing against Miles Kelly and Jalen Williams. Isn't that it's hurtful that they have to play against each other, but the fact that Auburn is center stage is just awesome. All right, keep moving along here. Some good questions rolling in here. Neil. I skipped ahead and saw Neil's question, or at least took a peek at it. Let's see here. Surprised there was only one golf question. Of course, we all know who asked it. Is it who I think it was? Maybe I'm not sure who you're referring to. Just say it. Most of the media people I listened to were making jokes about how ridiculous it was. Here's the thing. I think I am only assuming. Please hear me say that. But I think probably more of the media people were on board with that narrative being pushed until they realized how much blowback there was against it. There's a lot of people in the media that don't like Hugh Freeze for reasons that don't involve football and things that he's asked for forgiveness for, forgiveness for, and they just won't let it go because they have a superiority complex. And there's a lot of that going on there. It frankly shouldn't have had to come up at all. We're talking about football, not golf. If we want to talk about golf, let's talk about our men's golf team, which is amazing. Jackson Coyven, wow, he's having a great summer in the play that he's been allowed to play for the PGA Tour. Tim thought I didn't get to see this interview, Tim, so I got to go check this thing out and see what he was talking about. But Bruce Pearl is one of the best ambassadors for Auburn, in my opinion, and I love having him as a head coach. But I can wait because I don't want it to end. But when his time is finished at Auburn, I think he will be one of those like emeritus type roles where he is just an ambassador for Auburn in some capacity. Austin Scott, he says it. It's been 0 days since. I need on the show this Sunday, Austin, for you to come up with a sign and then just hold it up with that exact phrase on 0 days since ... And that is going to make my day. I love when you pull props on the show. So I had a feeling you might stop by tonight to make some commentary about that. I think the biggest letdown for me about Auburn's media days is that Auburn did not bring the new punter. They did bring him up, but if you notice, they say Hudson. Hudson, that's his name. That's all we're going to go with. Let's see here. All right, Rodney, what's going on? Good to see you, my man. I know you've missed a lot of live streams. Good to see you in here tonight. We've got a great crowd with a lot of you here that we don't get to see as often. I know that y'all are busy, and I'm not saying that to shame you in any way, but come on in. Let's hear from some of y'all on the phone lines. Those of you that are on YouTube, it should be easy to access that link up at the top. Give it a try. Give the call in a link a go tonight, and let's hear from you guys, even if you just want to say hello and jump out just to get the practice going, because we're about to get really busy here come football season time, and you want to go ahead and start getting used to that. Latrell says you just click the blue link and it'll let you come up. Yes, that should be how it. Well, if you're on Facebook, it's up at the top of the chat, and if you click on that, it should take you to a screen where it asks you to write your name in, and then it'll say you can choose to turn your camera on or off, but you got to have your microphone on at least, or you're just allow it to talk through your phone, whichever you're doing. That's how you access it if you want to utilize it. Neil says Auburn's new football uniforms may eventually have. Oh, wow. That's terrible. That's terrible. That's terrible, Neil. I was going to use this as a great segue into a early little promotion for next Tuesday night. Clint Richardson's going to be here. Auburn and Nike fall uniforms. We're going to talk about that with Clint next Tuesday night at 8 p.m., so don't miss that. But Neil ruined it. He ruined it. Clint will appreciate that. What's going on, Felix? Get Clint on the line. Clint's usually busy on Wednesday nights, but he's not. Oh, Rodney. What are you doing, Rodney? My goodness, so generous. Thank you for the super chat, sir. That is amazing. That is not necessary, but we are very grateful for helping keep the lights on here at E2C Network. That will go a long way to literally keeping the lights on and helping the lights work. Speaking of which, I don't know if y'all ever notice it. The little backdrop orangish light back here has had its moments, and I'm scared it is going to go out at some point. I don't say that for more of you to give super chats. I'm just saying, like, that's good. When that goes out, we'll have to order another one. Can I ask a question? Do y'all like the backdrop? Is there anything you don't like about it? I do this a lot on Auburn Family Nights. I ask y'all's opinions about things. Is there something doesn't work? Is the light too much back there that used to be not on, but I started liking it? I feel like it lights the whole room up a little bit. I know this isn't Auburn content, but I mean, it is. But is there anything that doesn't work other than this ugly mug right here? I'm going to take the joke away from somebody who says it. I just want to know y'all's opinions about the backdrop and anything needs to change in it. If you noticed a lot of our content throughout the years, if you've been here for a while, it's changed. I've been over on that wall with a different setup. I've been on this wall with a different setup. I've kind of reached this point where I'm pretty content with what I've got, and I don't really see outside of, like, I think this little thing over here is going to get changed every once in a while, like not the contents necessarily, but how this is. Y'all don't want to know how that's up there. Yeah, trust me, WT. I knew you were going to be the one that made that joke. Trust me, I took it away from you. I knew it. Exactly. All right. Well, we're getting some good feedback from this. So if you guys ever have a constructive critique of things you don't like, let me know. It's not that I'll necessarily do it, but I always keep those things in mind because I really want you guys to like what you see back here. And I know it is blurry for a reason because this application I use puts the focus on me and it blurs out the back a little bit, but I feel like you get the essence of what there. Obviously that's Cam. Got to get it's so hard to mirror yourself on this thing. You're always pointing opposite of what you are. Why am I doing this now? Hey, wow. All right. I need a Bo Jackson cutout. Where would I put it though, Neil? Right there? It's going to cover up Cam. I do. There is actually another blank space up here away from you guys. I didn't expect us to go this route tonight, but here we are. Show and tell. I've got some more stuff that's going to go up there that's really just for me, but I found this is what works for now. The books probably will get rearranged at some point. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I'm going over the thing. Bo over the top. Literally. Well played, Tim. Well played, Tim. Rodney. No, sir. This is a family-friendly show. Bo is greater than Cam. I agree. I don't disagree with that. Whatsoever. We're not here for the backdrop. We're here for the Auburn banter and the Auburn banter, Fonzie. Well, I mean, that's part of the banter. I just took away the banter from WT because he was going to say that what needed to be changed was me. But anyway, that's what we do here on Auburn Family Night. We take 1,000 different directions, and you have no one to blame but yourselves because you sent me down that road. Anyway, all the suggestions are starting to roll through for all the backdrop ideas. We're already 36 minutes in. All right, we can keep talking about that, but y'all take center stage here. What do you want to discuss tonight? SEC Media Day stuff. I know that we are 2 weeks away, essentially, from the start of fall practice, as was expected. If you ever in the future want to know when fall practice tends to start, it is usually 2 weeks after SEC Media Days-ish. In the last week of July, the first week of August, it's usually 2 weeks before or after SEC Media Days and 2 weeks, a week and a half before school starts. So if you ever need to kind of pinpoint in on when practice is going to start before it's been announced, that is how you figure it out until things change. And what I just said to you is moot point at that point. Do I have a shrine for the almighty St. Gus anywhere in the backdrop? You know, as much as I love St. Gus, he does have one signed ball with Cameron Artist Payne, I think, up there, but it's not in the backdrop. So he does have a place. That is the only thing I have. There's actually a signed Tommy Tuberville thing on here. There is Gene somewhere there. Plenty of other things. I got things galore that y'all don't even see. Anyway. All right. Felix says, fall practice the team. I'm taking it that's the answer to the question. But give me a legit question. And I have to stick to this a lot on TikTok when we try to not ask so many like highly speculative questions and like be very specific in what you're looking for out of this, because I want to make sure that I can give you some good things. And y'all have heard every version of this prediction, that prediction, things like that. Let's see here. Neil has 0 expectations for the season. It's probably a great place to be. Add a walk of shame frame pictures, the kick 6, the miracle at Jordan Hare. Lord knows we have the most. So you're talking about a wall or walk of shame of like posing coaches freaking out during those moments. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, we certainly could do that. Our resident Bama fan has shown up and decided to show his face. What's going on? You big nut. Neil's got a signed Takeo Spikes photo sitting right here. That's actually pretty cool, Neil. I don't have any of that. That's neat. I'm a big Takeo Spikes fan. All right, Devin's got something for us here. Let's see. If you've given your thoughts, I apologize, but do you think this new governing body will actually enforce the rules? Do you agree with how Auburn is handling it? I would rather play it safe. I don't know that we actually know what Auburn is doing other than being very careful about what deals it is offering beforehand, NIL wise. August 1st is the big date, but I don't think we've actually gotten it verbatim said what they are doing versus what others are doing. It's just been implied that others are not going about it the most ethical or smart ways, and that Auburn might be doing these more safer, more ethical, right ways of doing things. Look, this is not the Alabama show, but we've all seen and heard the tales of the Alabama gray shirts, how they would promise these roles to these kids and just to get them there and keep them away from somebody else. And then once they're done with them, they just throw them off to the side. I hate that it's kind of their history, but it is. I'm not saying it's not never been done at Auburn, but they literally made a name for that. They created the gray shirt icon on some recruiting sites because of Alabama. So I hope that's not going on. I haven't really given an opinion on that because I guess I probably don't have enough information to give what I feel is like a well-formed opinion on it. What I will say is this, that those that are forming opinions right now are tending to do it more so about the panic about recruiting and things like that. And that's just silly. Just silly. Yeah. Corey asked about it. Honestly, I haven't really cared all that much. And maybe that's wrong of me to say that, but that's just how I feel about that. Did I hear about the new rule changes, such as the substitution rule change that went over at SEC Media Days? I feel like I heard this and then I forgot to research it. So if Micah, you want to give us the rundown on that, let us know. Or you could call in, Micah. We haven't heard from you in a while. It's there for you. John, we're going to keep politics out of this thing here. I disagree with you vehemently about that, but I'm not going to get rid of Tuberville's stuff because of politics. I do not value him because of his politics. I value him because of his history to Auburn, and he has a great history of Auburn. So we got to learn to be able to separate those two things. Let's see here. 22 points for Broom. Man, that's awesome. Awesome. Let's see here. Speaking of keeping politics out of it, AUMA set a record for coaches turned politicians if Coach Pro decides to run for the Senate. I'm not putting any stock into that. I think that's one of the more silly stories out there. All right, Hugh's got a take on what Devin brought up to us. Some are saying that other schools locked in deals for existing players to fall under the grandfather clause, thus opening more money for rev share with high school kids. Okay, thank you for that information. I guess your summary of it, and we'll run with that one for right now because that's the best one that we have gotten at that. I know you're just picking at me, John. That's why I'm picking at you. I only pick on those that I love the most. So I guess, John, I love you the most. No, I guess I love Micah the most because I pick on him most as the resident Bama fan. What's going on, Dad by Faith? Good to see you. Oh, an AI answer. Okay. So, yeah, I think there are people that are always going to find ways to cheat the system. And by cheat the system, I mean not necessarily cheat, but how can we skirt the lines of the rules and figure out how to maximize the benefit with a little bit of risk at that? Seems like that might be happening for some. Seems a bit of a risk, and if it works out, well played. I would say this. It wouldn't shock me if it works out for people like Alabama because they are very well connected within the sports space. You know, Nick Saban has the ear. He's a power broker now more than just a coach. And I think they're probably well informed on what is or isn't going to happen. But unfortunately, when your greatest rival is that well connected, you yourself can't put yourself in a position to where you're riding those lines and they take advantage of that against you and get you into some trouble. Seems that is Auburn's opinion. The collective deals will count against the cap, and the NIL deals must be made with legit businesses, not just offers from schools to the player. This thing's just going to get more and more complicated. More and more complicated. Players should have contracts. If you perform well, you get rewarded. If not, you don't. Well, Neil, in that proposal, we become even less of amateurism, and I know your point's going to be we're already there, and I understand that, but I would like to preserve any form of amateurism that we can left. And if you go just to straight contracts, then we're done at that point. You're not getting the alert anymore. For what? For like going live or something like that? Not sure what you're saying, Latrell. Let me know and we can help you out. I heard Nick is actually helping them with recruits. I mean, yeah, he's from what I saw a clip today, Kalen DeBoer said that he was helping, that Nick Saban was there for some recruits. Look, we can have fun with it all we want, but do you blame the dude for using every tool he's got? Because he got his butt whipped in the state last year in terms of recruiting. So certainly you play with the cards that are dealt out for you. Corey says we need to beat Bama this year. We can't let them get 6 in a row on us. Well, it's a possibility. It certainly is a possibility. But I would love to see it in this year too. Lots of long comments tonight. Sorry, still got a little bit of drainage, you can probably tell. From the research I have done, this new body is not made up of people who are connected to college sports. They are businessmen. So I'm not sure how much sports connections will help. From the research I've done, the new body is not made of people who are connected with college sports. They are businessmen. So I'm not sure how much sports connections will help. Yeah, maybe not. But I think if you're referring to that with a Nick Saban thing, Nick Saban's, whether we like it or not, his voice carries weight. One thing no one's talking about with the Nike change is the shiny shoulder stripes, which I love. This is a shiny shoulder stripe. Wow. Shiny shoulder stripe. That is tough, unbeaten leg. Did you just write it that way to get me to struggle through that? I mean, it's bad enough I struggle with math on these streams, but whew, goodness gracious. That was tough. We'll talk about Clint with that next Tuesday night. Okay, let's see. Kind of an overview of the changes. Here's the rule change that Micah was referring to. The rules. Wow, that typo got you there. There will be a penalty for faking injuries, aka a delay of game. No, that's one. I got it now. Number 2, overtime timeout mods at 3 overtimes. You get 1 timeout for the rest of the game. Some of this is a little bit confusing the way it's written, unfortunately. I think I understand it, but some of it's confusing. 3, you get a scrimmage kick formation change. Probably need a little bit more context to understand all that, but thank you for trying. Okay, faking injuries, you get a delay of game. Duh. Like, Lane Kiffin is the king of that. I mean, that should have been there in the middle of the season last year. You can't do that, but it is what it is. As much as I love Lane Kiffin in some ways, that is probably the one area where I really get annoyed with him is how much he takes an advantage of that. Let's see. Overtime timeout at 3 times. You get 1 timeout for the rest of the game. Okay, so after the third overtime, those are getting, I see the OT and then the TO, and that's throwing me off. I got a little dyslexia going on there. After the third overtime, 1 timeout for the rest of the game. I'm fine with that. And scrimmage kick formation changes. Not sure what that is, but you did your best. Nike needs the exposure. Their stock has tanked for a while. Great buy if you're interested. A little bit of financial advice from Neil. Yeah, that might be true, but they're still in a much better position than Under Armour, and it pains me to say that because I would prefer to stay with Under Armour. I think this was a more long-term financial decision for Auburn to make the swap over. Dad by Faith, he says, I know I came in late. Yes, you did, and we won't forgive you for it. But I am super disappointed on Simmons' situation. Let the justice system play out. Praying for everyone involved. Just a bummer. I think that's fair. I think that's where we need to be on this, right? You have the right and the probably obligation to be disappointed that Malcolm is even involved in this situation. However, there are times that people are wrongly accused, and you have to let the system play it out, like you just said. We do need to pray for everybody involved, because what we want is for everybody to, whatever consequences need to happen, and everybody figure out how they're going to move forward from this point. Because I've always said it this way, and this way I try to live my life, and for others as well. It's not your mistakes, it's how you respond to your mistakes. Doesn't mean you don't face your consequences, but that does mean that you've got to figure out what you're going to do better after this point. Still a lot to be figured out with Malcolm Simmons at this point, but that's my prayer and hope for him. It is a bummer too. It's a bummer. Yeah, Mason, if you just got here, obviously we talked about it a little bit. I think we've covered most angles on it. If there's something new that you'd like to bring to the table, we're not doing any Malcolm Simmons anybody bashing in this situation right now, because there's just so little information out there. So does Georgia. All right, yeah, we can't give Georgia much flack this offseason because they've been pretty quiet and we've been pretty active thus far. All right. Keep your comments and questions coming. I would love to hear from some of y'all tonight. I'm going to keep begging y'all until you do that. We have some nights where y'all utilize the phone lines a ton. Tonight's been one of those nights where it's been a bit of a stretch. So I would love for you just to call in, tell me hello, give it a try. I promise it's easy. We want you to get used to these types. I think some of you are new here tonight. Click the link at the top on YouTube. You have to scroll all the way to the top of the comments on Facebook, or find it in the comment section. You click the link, be on camera, off camera, come in, say hello, drop a comment, a question, and then we can get to know you a little bit better as you do that. Okay, couple reminders for you as we kind of shift gears a little bit. We're going to come back to your comments and questions, but I always like to remind you of what you got coming up next here at E2C Network. Let's talk about scheduled stuff here on the YouTube live streams side of things. You know about Wednesday nights because you're here, or you're watching the replay, but you also should know about Sunday nights. That is the Auburn Experience live recording at 9 Eastern every Sunday night outside of schedule changes. Episode 134 is up next. Join us for that. Austin should be there. I'll be there. And we'll have a good time talking about the Auburn Experience sports, culture, and family. I already previewed this once, this stream, but coming up next Tuesday, we have got Auburn and Nike, the fall uniform lineup, with Clint Richardson of the Auburn Uniform Database. He is going to be with us to discuss the changes, very minimal changes, but changes, and he'll always answer your questions. He loves doing that, so he'll be back next Tuesday night. We always want to encourage you to check out our friends at Alumni Hall. We're an affiliate of theirs, and so we would love for you to support us by supporting them. If you go to our link, which is in our description, you'll see the one link down there. It's called a link tree. You can go through our affiliate link and buy something there. There's some discounted Under Armour gear and get geared up, ready for that July 25th Nike Day for Alumni Hall as well. Okay. That's the big, there's always TikTok, all social medias, tons of audio podcasts. I've been doing that daily, midweek daily podcast for you, somewhat daily podcast. We'll call it that, called Ever to Podcast, catching you up on the latest news in the Auburn space. And so there's been 2 episodes out this week, likely one tomorrow and likely one Friday as well. All right, where are we at in the chat here? Let's see what we got to cover from the rest of you. This is Micah again, says a few other changes. Defensive delay of game. A new rule will penalize the defensive players who simulate the snap to try and draw an offensive player into a false start. Wasn't this already a rule? And if it wasn't, how was this not already a rule? I guess that's my initial reaction, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, if you can get a little bit of advantage there, is that so bad? UJ invested in driving schools. It seems like it. This summer's been pretty quiet for them. I do feel bad about joking about that sometimes because there's been some more serious situations with that. It's just very unfortunate, but it's also ironic, you know. Let's see here. It's hard to believe that the Auburn Experience is at 134. I remember calling out uniform numbers for each show. Can't do that anymore. We can 134. We could call out. One would be Devin Aroma Shadu, and 34 would be Bo. So we could do that. It's been a while, hasn't it? It doesn't. There are days it doesn't feel like we've made it to 134, and then there are days like, oh wow, we're only at 134. It just depends on the day. I feel like Austin will agree with you there. We get wild on the TikTok. Some guy named Micah comes in and stirs the pot sometimes. He stirs it all the time, and I hear he is pretty annoying. I guess we love him a little bit, though. Devin says the change for the delay of game rule for the defense is the defense can't do sudden shifts or movements to try and make the offense false start. The change for the delay of game rule is the defense can't do sudden shifts or movements to try and make the... I don't like that at all. If that's what that is, I don't like that at all. To me, you should be trained and ready to not make those movements. Meaning the offensive line, that's your job, is to not do the false start. Nobody asked me my opinions, but I give them anyway. It's what I do with the show. All right. What else haven't we talked about? We did talk a little bit about SEC Media Days. Certainly the breaking news of, unfortunately, Malcolm Simmons. We have dove into a little bit here today. Plenty of other things that we could probably discuss that we haven't yet. So you guys let us know if there's something we should be talking about a little bit more. I'm trying to look through here and see if there's anything new. That's just unfortunate. There's this mugshot right there. Just a shame, an absolute shame. Even if it's false, it's just a shame that that's happening right now. Yeah. And here's the thing. I think I see a lot of people offering opinions like, if it's true, then get out of here. Like, yeah, but you need to wait till you kind of say those things. I think that's a little bit, it's not correct for you to be doing that at this point. All right. I got to stop looking at that right now. Can't wait for AI to take over for the refs. Ironically, Neil, AI might actually do a better job than some refs. And I think that's probably the point that you're making. Subjective, that rule change? Yes, it does. It's a little bit iffy. Unbeaten Lake says it's interesting that college hasn't adopted the new NFL kickoff, because I think they've seen the dislike of it. Is that fair to say? I think so. Hoping for Perry Thompson to have a breakout season. Well, people have been hoping for that before this. I think you're going to get a shot at that now. So here's what I will say about whether it's this situation or with like at linebacker with DJ Barber. Right or wrong, true or false, someone's loss is the other person's gain. And I don't mean to be callous about that, but that's just the reality. So if you want if you want an opportunity, you've got it, and you've got to seize it at this point. What happened with Pettifer? Are you talking about his arrest? Oh, I didn't think this would turn into the Auburn arrest show. He was arrested for being drunk as a minor, I believe is the correct phrasing of everything. And I think there could be potentially some other ramifications for that, but I wouldn't really worry about it too much at this point. At least I haven't heard anything about that. You feel like the AI would be worse in some cases than the refs, as there would be a penalty every single play. Yeah, they would take it to the extreme letter of the law, which is what AI is planning to do, right? It is. Yeah, it is. Alan, man, you're late to the party. We not broke the story. We opened the show up with the story. Yeah, won't rehash it here necessarily for you, but unfortunately you're coming in at an unfortunate time. Okay. Anything else Auburn related that we haven't covered here? We normally get out of here right about 10 o'clock. I'm going to close the phone line down. Nobody wanted to take advantage of besides Kevin tonight, but we love hearing from him. You all, from this point forward, can rapid fire some questions and comments in here, and we'll round out the show here with our final minute or so of what we got going on here. Follow, subscribe, like, all of it. Please do it. We want to continue to grow our little family within the Auburn family. We had a great crowd tonight in terms of regular people who are normally here, some of you that we know well but don't get to see as often, please do come back. We love seeing you here, being part of the chat. It makes things more lively and interesting. I love watching y'all's banter, and it distracts me sometimes too, which is probably more entertaining for you all. And every Wednesday night, 9 Eastern time, unless otherwise noted. Every Sunday night, 9 Eastern time, unless otherwise noted. Tuesday night next week, special show with Clint Richardson. Make sure you're here for that. He always loves talking with you guys. Anything else? How do you feel about the Hugh? What? The podium question and answer? How did I feel about his? Am I missing something? Is there a joke? The Hugh podium questions? Like all of them? I need a little bit more clarification there, Felix, if you can give it to me in time. Thank you. What he said here. Herb and Raj just stopping by to say what's up. It's one of our favorite people. If you haven't checked out the Herb and Raj podcast, I know they're bammers. I know. We all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. But they're good dudes, so go check them out. I got to be on their show last night. They were very kind to have me on. And let's see here. Yeah, always good to see you here. Anything else? Uniforms don't get arrested. That's his Q&A. So if you're asking my opinions about like how he did at the Q&A, I thought he did well. I think he answered everything that he needed to, and some of the maybe critiques that people had of him, he answered them and gave appropriate attention to, or not or didn't give attention to things that needed to be given attention to. I walked away being pretty satisfied with what he said. That'd be my overall take on what I walked away from that on there. All right, guys, you're the best. Thanks for hanging out. Great crowd this evening. You are the best little family within the Auburn family, and I appreciate you so much. And those weird guys from Alabama. All that to be said, thanks for joining us on Wednesday nights. We'd love to see you back here next Wednesday night, 9 Eastern time, for Auburn Family Night. Until we get the opportunity to talk to you again, thanks for hanging out, and War Eagle.